Hi there, I'm Steven with Futurelooks.com, and today we've got a brand new case from Cooler Master to look at. It's called the CM Storm Enforcer. The CM Storm Enforcer is a new case from Cooler Master that is geared towards gamers looking for an affordable case with a lot of features. The case came to us packaged quite well, and it survived its journey from Taiwan to LA to Vancouver without incident. Starting with the front of the case, you'll see that there's this tray up here that's useful for putting your wallet, keys, or your cell phone, smartphones. And to the front of that, you'll see the I/O panel, which includes two USB 3.0 ports, two USB, and a space for your headset. There's also a main power button, and hidden underneath this cover is the reset switch. The 5¼ inch drive bays are protected by this door, which is magnetized. And underneath you'll see four 5¼ inch bays for your optical devices, and there's even one bay down here that can be converted from a 5¼ inch to a 3½ inch using rails that are included in the box. Once closed, the rounded front cover also allows additional protection for your 5¼ inch devices and follows the lines all the way down to the front fan grille, which houses beneath it a 200mm fan. At the top of the case, you'll see a spot for an additional 200mm fan, which is not included, or you can mount any number of 120mm fans in this fitting. The CM Storm Enforcer uses a special 200mm fan, so if you're trying to adapt an older Cooler Master fan, it probably will not work. At the back of the case, you'll see three rubberized grommets for your water cooling system. There is one single 120mm fan outlet where there's a fan mounted, and it is included with the case. Down below, you'll see that there is a bracket on the side here, which can be used for a fan controller, or if you're at a LAN party, you'll probably want to use it with CM Storm Cooler Master's Storm Guard fitting, which allows you to lock down your mice and your keyboard from being stolen. All of the back plates are vented, and there is a total of 7 expansion slots on the back. Down below, you'll see the space for your power supply. The CM Storm Enforcer comes in two models. There is the KWN1, which is the one that we're seeing here, the W representing the plexiglass window that's on the side here. There's also a KNN1, which doesn't have the window, but does have a fitting for a single 120mm fan. The windowed side panel is affixed with 2 thumb screws, while the rear panel is fixed with a couple of regular case screws. Some of you people may recognize this layout from the HAF 912, a case that I'm fairly fond of because it helped me win the Tiger Direct charity PC race this year in a record time of 4 minutes and 9 seconds. The Enforcer has 4 5¼ inch bays, which are completely tool-free, but if you want to secure your drives a little bit better, you can actually remove these latches by simply hitting the open position and then pulling straight out, and these adapters pop right off, and you can use regular case screws with this case. And with an included set of drive rail adapters, you can convert any one of these 5¼ inch bays to a 3½ inch device. In addition to the 4 5¼ inch bays with one convertible to 3½ inch, the CM Storm Enforcer allows you to mount 4 more 3½ inch devices in this specialized bay here, and 2 more in the bottom, as well as 2 SSDs in this drive bay right here. The most interesting feature of the drive setup is, of course, this middle bay. It can be removed all the way to accommodate the largest possible graphics cards. In this case, the kings right now are the GTX 590 from NVIDIA and the AMD HD 6990. Or you can rotate it and mount it this way. All you need to do to get this to pop out is to remove 4 screws on the back of the drive cage. Drive mounting for 3½ inch hard drives is also tool-free. The CM Storm Enforcer comes with a bunch of these tool-free connectors which you mount onto the drive itself, and then that allows you to slide the drive directly into one of these bays, like so. Cooler Master also includes an adapter that allows you to mount 2½ inch devices like notebook hard drives and SSDs. Simply pop the drive on top of here, attach tool-free rails to the adapter itself, and you'll be able to quickly mount any 2½ inch device into one of the tool-free bays like a regular hard drive. Front panel cables and all look like pretty good quality. They are well wrapped and shielded. But one of the unique features of the CM Storm Enforcer is the fact that it does come with a native USB 3.0 header that mounts to a lot of new P67, H67, and X58 motherboards. And what this allows you to do is, instead of routing a USB 3.0 cable from one of the back panel USB 3.0 ports, you can simply plug this into a motherboard header and have USB 3.0 support without that bit of cable clutter. The motherboard tray supports micro ATX and ATX motherboards, and there's a handy legend at the top here that allows you to figure out which mounting holes to put your posts down for your particular motherboard. There is a motherboard CPU cooler cutout here that's fairly large and should allow you to fit most motherboard coolers without having to remove your motherboard out of the case. The power supply is mounted on the bottom of this chassis and is supported by 4 rubberized posts to dampen vibration. Case itself can support most regular power supplies, but if you need to mount a longer one, all you need to do is simply remove the drive cage here and you'll be able to mount any power supply that you wish. The back of the motherboard tray is actually quite roomy and should provide adequate space for mounting even the worst rat's nest of cables. There is plenty of room in the gutter here, which means that there's plenty of room between the board and the rear panel door. There are also these little clips here that allow you to zip tie down cables to keep things a little bit tidier. Like the rest of the steel edges on this case, the cable routing holes are actually rolled steel and they're finished very nicely to prevent injury-free installation of your system components. While the rest of the CM Storm Enforcer's components and case features seem fairly well built, I wasn't particularly impressed with the filtering feature. The dust filters are not mounted to any frame or plates, and they simply just stick on or clip on using mechanical tabs inside the case. You can see here that this is for the power supply, and there's no clips or anything for it that are fixed. You kind of have to just, manually punch it back in place. So while you aren't cleaning your filters very often, this doesn't make the job any easier. Removing the front case cover is actually fairly easy. All you need to do is relieve 6 tabs, and then the whole thing pops straight off. Pulling the front cover off reveals a translucent 200mm fan, which glows red when the system is fully powered. Unfortunately, you can't turn that off if that's not your preference, so your only remedy is to cut the LED cables. The 5 1/4 bay drive covers pop off fairly easily and can be reused in case you decide you changed your mind and wanted to add or subtract different devices from these drive bays. Unfortunately, the filter for the front panel 200mm fan suffers from similar cheapness that the power supply filter exhibits. For example, the front filter here is held on by these metal tabs. It's just a mechanical connection. You can't just slide it out or pop the whole screen out. It's just really kind of cheap. If you use these tabs enough, they're just going to end up snapping off because they're just metal. One of the unique features of CM Storm gaming cases is the Storm Guard feature. The CM Storm Guard is actually a bracket that fits into one of the PCI Express slots. In this case, there is a specially designed slot on the back that you simply change this out for. And what this does is, if you want to route your cables from your keyboard or your mouse into this, you can keep them locked inside and no one will be able to take off with your peripherals. Of course, this would be rather stupid if you could simply remove the side panel and remove the bracket from the outside. So that's why Cooler Master has included this tab here, and then you can padlock the side panel of your case shut. One could say that the CM Storm Enforcer is just another cosmetically upgraded HAF 912 advanced chassis. And if you were to think that, you'd be mostly right. But what Cooler Master has done is they've taken the HAF 912 advanced and they've put some additional cosmetic work into it, making it look a little bit different and also a little bit tougher. A lot of times at LAN parties when people are poking around your system, it's nice to have this cover to kind of hide what you've got in the bays there. I also like the fact that the USB 3.0 is now integrated, and using the connector inside the chassis, you have native support of USB 3.0 on any of the new motherboards out there, like the P67, H67, and X58 boards, including some of the AMD boards out there. And you can also keep all of your external USB 3.0 ports free for things that you really need them for. Like the 912 Advanced, the case has a lot of features that come on much more expensive cases, and that builds a lot of value into the price tag. But the thing that I really didn't like about the case, and that seems to have followed it from the 912, is the fact that the filtering is fairly cheap on the bottom power supply, and now they're using a similar cheap way of filtering in the front. I would have really liked to have seen some sort of a framed filter system that really would have elevated the level of the case just a little bit more. But overall, the CM Storm Enforcer is a really tight little case, very good build quality, injury-free metal rolled interior, and for $89.99, starting today, because it launches today, you'll be able to get one of these for yourself soon at any one of the major retailers. If you're looking for a sub $100 case that has a really great look, blacked out interior, tool-free construction, it's really hard not to recommend this case, unless of course you're anal about your dust filters. Again, my name is Steven from Futurelooks.com. Thanks for watching our videos. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you again in our next video. Take care, everyone.